The phone slipped from my trembling hand, clattering against the cold linoleum floor of the ER cubicle. Blood smeared the screen, my blood still oozing from the gash across my palm where the shattered glass from the car wreck had sliced deep. Sirens wailed faintly in the distance, a mocking echo of the crash that had left me here, ribs cracked, vision blurring from the concussion. "Mom. Dad. Please. Pick up," I whispered to the empty air, my voice raw and broken. But the line had gone dead again, the fifth call ignored. The nurse, a harried woman with tired eyes, handed me back the device. "Family not answering?" she asked softly. I nodded, tears burning tracks down my dirt-streaked face. That's when the text came through, from my sister Elena. "Can't talk. Crying too hard." He proposed. "We're engaged." A photo attached. Her manicured hand flashing a diamond ring, her face beaming amid champagne flutes. My world tilted, not from the pain meds, but from the gut-punch realization. They'd all seen my calls, my pleas for help after the accident, and chosen her tears of joy over my screams of agony. Humiliation scorched through me like wildfire, hotter than the ache in my fractured arm. How could they? I was their daughter too. The older one, the reliable fixer who'd bailed Elena out of her messes since we were kids. I'd driven through that storm to pick up Dad's forgotten meds, hydroplaning into a ditch because family came first. Or so I'd thought. Lying there, hooked to an 4 drip that beeped incessantly, the sterile scent of antiseptic choking the air, I replayed the ignored calls in my mind. Mom's voicemail, cheerful and oblivious. Leave a message after the tone. Dad's phone ringing out to silence. Even my brother Alex, who'd always been my ally, nothing. Elena's engagement party must have been in full swing, laughter drowning out the vibrations of my desperation. Heartbreak clawed at my chest, a vice squeezing tighter with each shallow breath. They'd abandoned me in my hour of need for a ring and a promise that meant nothing in the face of real crisis. As the doctor stitched my palm, the needle's prick barely registering against the storm inside, denial crept in like a thief. Maybe their phones were on silent. Maybe the signal was bad at the restaurant. But the text shattered that illusion. Elena's words, so casual, so self-absorbed, as if my emergency was an inconvenience. Resentment bubbled up, thick and bitter, tasting like bile in my throat. I'd sacrificed for them, dropping out of college to help with the family business when Dad's health failed, enduring Elena's tantrums while she chased dreams of glamour. And now this. The room spun slightly, the fluorescent lights buzzing like angry hornets, amplifying my isolation. I fantasized about bursting into that party, bloodied and bandaged, screaming the truth. "I almost died while you celebrated." But doubt whispered back. What if I was overreacting? Families prioritize joy sometimes. Well, this was betrayal, pure and slicing. Discharged at dawn, I hailed a cab home, the city streets slick with rain that mirrored my tear-streaked cheeks. The driver glanced at my sling and bruises in the rearview mirror, concern etching his face. "Rough night?" he asked. "You have no idea," I muttered, staring out at the blurring lights. Home was a modest brownstone, lights still on from the party's aftermath. I pushed open the door, the scent of stale champagne and wilted flowers assaulting me. Mom dozed on the couch, Dad in his recliner, Elena's laughter echoing faintly from upstairs where she probably gushed to her fiancé, Marcus, on the phone. No one had checked on me. No frantic voicemails. Rage ignited, but I swallowed it, limping to my room. Collapsing onto the bed, sheets cool against my fevered skin, I let the obsession take root. They owed me. For the pain, the loneliness, the near-death silence. But revenge. The word slithered into my thoughts, seductive and forbidden. I'd start small, gather intel, uncover their weaknesses. Elena's perfect life, her engagement to Marcus, the golden boy investor, hid cracks. I'd seen her secretive texts, her late nights. What if Marcus wasn't as faithful as she believed? Morning brought forced concern. Mom bustled in with coffee, her eyes widening at my bandages. "Oh, honey. What happened?" she exclaimed, voice laced with guilt that didn't quite reach her eyes. Car accident, I said flatly, watching her fidget. I called. Multiple times. She averted her gaze, stirring sugar unnecessarily. We were at Elena's surprise engagement dinner. She was so emotional, crying happy tears all night. We didn't hear the phones. I knew they'd checked. Elena's text proved it. Heartbreak twisted into cold resolve as I nodded, feigning understanding. Of course. Big night. Inside, resentment festered. Dad shuffled in next, his arthritis making him wince. Glad you're okay, kiddo, he grunted, avoiding the topic. Alex called later, apologetic. Sorry, sis. Party was chaos. Elena had a meltdown about the ring size. Total drama. Meltdown. While I bled out, humiliation burned anew. I probed subtly. How's Marcus holding up? Alex chuckled. Thrilled. Though he's been stressed, work stuff. I dig deeper. Days blurred into a haze of painkillers and plotting. My ribs throbbed with every breath, a constant reminder. I returned to work at the family bakery, the yeasty aroma mingling with flour dust that clung to my skin like accusation. Customers chattered about Elena's engagement. Social media ablaze with photos. I smiled through gritted teeth, inner thoughts a whirlwind. They celebrate her while I suffer in silence. Obsession grew. Nights, I'd scroll Marcus's profiles, spotting inconsistencies. A late-night photo with a colleague who leaned too close. Doubt nagged. Was I becoming the villain? Moral conflict gnawed. Revenge might destroy us all. But guilt, they felt none. Why should I? Tension built slowly. At family dinner, Elena preened, diamond catching the light. It was perfect, she gushed. Marcus got down on one knee at sunset. I forced a smile. Sounds magical. Glad everyone was there. Fuddle jab. Mom shifted uncomfortably. We wish you'd been too, but... Trailing off. Suppressed rage simmered as I asked innocently. Any wedding plans yet? Elena beamed. Bring. But Marcus is so busy with deals. Opportunity. I fantasized exposing him, shattering her illusion. Fear flickered. What if it backfired, alienating me further? But resolve hardened. I'd play the long game. Weeks passed, my bruises fading but scars deepening. I volunteered for bakery deliveries, eavesdropping on gossip. Marcus's firm had whispers of shady investments. Inner conflict raged. Am I justified? Or just bitter? One night, alone in the kitchen, kneading dough with forceful punches, I decided. I'd hack his email. Nothing illegal, just social engineering from old connections. Guilt pricked, but resentment drowned it. The plan formed. Befriend his assistant, uncover dirt. Suspense coiled as I dialed her number, voice steady. Hi, this is from the bakery. Marcus ordered pastries. Lie but entry point. The call led to coffee. Sarah, his assistant, was chatty, frustrated. He's always traveling, she confided over steaming lattes in a bustling cafe, the clink of cups underscoring her words. And those late calls with investors, sketchy. My pulse quickened. Hints of infidelity. Fraud. I nodded sympathetically, hiding my glee. Back home, Elena cornered me. You've been distant, she said, eyes narrowing. Jealous. Humiliation flared. Of what? Your perfect life. Sarcasm dripped. She huffed. Grow up, Lila. My name on her lips felt like a slap. Obsession peaked. I'd make her cry real tears. Foreshadowing emerged in dreams. Marcus exposed, family crumbling. But moral grayness haunted. Revenge might heal me or damn us. I pressed on, emailing Sarah anonymously with tips on Marcus's dealings. Tension rose. Dad's health worsened, stress from the bakery. We need Elena's wedding to boost morale, he said weakly. Irony. I smiled inwardly. Not if I succeeded. Climax of part 1 neared. At a pre-engagement brunch, champagne fizzed, toasts rang out. I slipped away, checking my phone, Sarah's reply. Proof of Marcus's affair. Photos, emails. Heart pounding, I stared at the evidence. Betrayal mirrored. He'd cheated on Elena with a client. Cold resolve settled. But doubt, destroy her now or wait. Suspense built. I pocketed the phone, rejoining the table with a serene smile. The game was on. The photo on my screen burned into my retinas. Marcus, lips locked with a brunette in a dimly lit bar, time-stamped weeks before the proposal. Sarah's email detailed more. Embezzlement whispers at his firm, hidden accounts. My hands shook as I saved the files in a hidden folder. The bakery's back office cloaked in shadows, the hum of the industrial fridge a low thrum matching my heartbeat. Revenge tasted sweet, but guilt soured it. Elena's happiness was a facade. Exposing it would shatter her, yes, but what about the fallout? Mom's fragile heart, Dad's declining health. Could they withstand the scandal? Inner conflict tore at me. They left you to die alone. This is justice. Yet fear whispered of irreversible consequences. I paced the flour-dusted floor, boots leaving prints like evidence trails, the scent of fresh bread mocking the bitterness in my soul. Suspense simmered as I tested the waters. At dinner that night, candlelight flickering across faces, I dropped a casual bomb. Heard Marcus's firm is under audit, I said lightly, spearing a forkful of salad. Elena froze, fork midway to mouth. What? Where'd you hear that? Her voice edged with panic. Mom glanced worriedly. Lila, don't spread rumors. Dad coughed, waving it off. Business is tough. But I saw the crack, Elena's eyes darting to her phone. Suppressed rage fueled my calm. Just office gossip. Congrats again. Dialogue revealed her insecurity. Later she texted. Why say that? Jealous. Humiliation reignited. No, I typed back. Concerned sister. Obsession deepened. I'd leak the affair anonymously. Watch her world crumble as mine had. Planning consumed me. Mornings I'd stare at my reflection in the steamed bathroom mirror, tracing the faint scar on my palm, a talisman of their neglect. Fantasies evolved. Not just exposure but orchestration. Befriend the mistress. Feed Elena doubts. Moral conflict peaked during a walk in the park. Leaves crunching underfoot, autumn chill biting. Is this who I am? A destroyer. But resentment won. They'd chosen her tears over my blood. I contacted the brunette, Isabel, via a burner account. Know about Marcus. Messaged. Her reply, curiosity then confessions. He's promised to leave her. Perfect. Hidden motives unveiled. Marcus sought Elena's family connections for his schemes. Tension escalated at the engagement party rehearsal. The venue, a lavish hall with crystal chandeliers casting prismatic light, buzzed with caterers. Elena fussed over details, her dress hugging curves I'd once envied. Everything must be perfect, she snapped at a florist. I approached, offering help. Need anything? She sighed. Just, Marcus is distant lately. Opportunity. Maybe work stress, I said innocently. Inside glee. That night I sent Isabel encouragement. Confront him. Slow burn. Whispers of doubt planted. Weeks dragged, my ribs healed but heart scarred. Alex noticed my detachment. Over beers at a dimly lit pub, wood-paneled walls absorbing our words. He probed. What's eating you, sis? Beer foam clung to his lip. The accident, I admitted partially. You all ignored me. He winced. Elena's drama. Sorry. But his eyes held secrets. Did he know about Marcus? Layered. Alex had his own resentments, funding Elena's whims. She's spoiled, he muttered. Alliance. I hinted at dirt. What if Marcus isn't who he seems? He paused. Wouldn't surprise me. Foreshadowing. Perhaps he'd aid unknowingly. Obsession bordered mania. Nights I'd lie awake, sheets tangled, replaying the crash, the screech of metal, rain pounding like accusations. Cold resolve, I'd crash their world too. I compiled a dossier. Emails, photos, bank statements from Sarah. Moral gray. Was this poetic or petty? Fear of exposure gnawed. What if they traced it back? Pivotal moment. The engagement party. Guests milled in tuxedos and gowns, string quartet playing softly, champagne flowing like forgotten promises. Elena glowed, arm linked with Marcus's. I circulated, smile plastered, heart thundering. In a quiet alcove, velvet curtains muffling laughter, I pulled Alex aside. Look at this. Showed him the evidence. His face paled. Holy shit. We have to tell her. But I hesitated, my plan was solo. Not yet. Let me handle. Suspense peaked. During toasts, Dad raised a glass shakily. To family, through thick and thin. Ernie choked me. As Elena kissed Marcus, I slipped out, uploading the dossier to a gossip blog anonymously. Titled The Truth Behind the Ring. Chaos unfolded gradually. Next morning, Elena's screams echoed downstairs. Feigned sleep, pulse racing. Rushing down, robe askew, I found her sobbing on the couch, phone in hand. It's everywhere. Lies about Marcus. Mom consoled, Dad paced. Alex shot me a knowing look. Had he suspected? Dialogue erupted. How could this happen? Elena wailed. Marcus arrived, furious. Hacked. Someone's out to ruin me. Eyes on me. Paranoia spiked. Inner thoughts. Guilt now. Too late. Revelations cascaded. Isabel went public, confirming the affair. Elena's world shattered. Humiliation mirroring mine. But twist. During confrontation, Marcus accused. Your sister's behind this. Denial flew, but evidence pointed elsewhere. Family turned inward. Mom's heart episode landed her in hospital, the same year I'd begged from. Guilt crushed me as I sat by her bed, monitors beeping like my ignored calls. Why? She whispered. Heartbreak. My revenge had boomeranged. Dramatic payoff. Elena confronted me privately. Rain lashing windows, thunder rumbling. You did this. Tears streamed. Jealous bitch. But layers. I was scared. Marcus. He hit me once. The engagement was escape. Hidden motive, abuse. My betrayal exposed her salvation. Moral gray deepened. I didn't know, I stammered. Obsession dissolved into regret. Poetic justice twisted. Marcus arrested for fraud, but family fractured. In the end, as Elena left town, broken but free, I whispered to empty rooms. Revenge's cost was our bond. Unexpected consequence. Alone again, but with cold truth, we'd all betrayed each other.